Guys, gals, and non-binary pals, welcome back to Brownlow Books. We're going to talk about Canada Reads, because the list came out, well, when you're seeing this, yesterday. Yeah, the shortlist for 2024 came out, and to say that I am unenthused would be a fucking understatement. I was unenthused by the long list, and I continue to be unenthused by the short list. I am happy that Bad Cree has made it to the short list, and honestly, at this point, if you want to skip the rest of goddamn everything else I ever say, I'd pick that as my winner. Based on vibes from the other things alone. That's how fucking unenthused I am. Yeah. We're gonna go over them anyways. But something I do want to point out is that of the 5 books for all of Canada, 4 of them are set in Southern Ontario. Yeah, Southern Ontario. Isn't that lovely? Am I picking the one that's not in Ontario as my winner? Yes, I am, because I'm from Ontario and it fucking sucks. Okay. Unenthused. 4 out of 5 in fucking Southern Ontario. So let's just work our way through them. So first on the list we have Bad Cree by Jessica Johns. This one. It's the only book on the list that I've read already. I have a review out there somewhere. It is being championed. It is being championed by, I hope I'm going to say all of these names right. I know I'm not, but I'll learn before we actually, like, get to it. This is it. Whatever. Dallas Sunius, I want to say. Sunius. He was on Team Canada Volleyball something or other. Canadian athlete and a CBC correspondent chosen for the Paris Olympics 2024. Good for you. Yeah. Bad Cree is my choice at this moment in time. I do have a second one that I'm like, maybe that. But yeah, for me, this is what it is right now because of how unenthused I am by everything else on this list. I feel like even if I hadn't read this book yet, it would still be like the one where I'm like, okay, this, because our theme is supposed to be one book to carry us forward. And this is like the only one so far that seems to be doing that. There is another one where I'm like, maybe, as I said, but yeah, it's very much about grief and isolation and mental health kind of things all going together. And yeah, okay, it's a horror but it's definitely about moving forward, so it makes sense in their theme. Also enjoy that Dallas is also Cree and Anishinaabe, so I feel like there is a connection there between the actual book and the champion of it, which is always nice. I don't know, I like that. It's personal. You know, it feels much more personal for him, which I hope will make the defense of it that much stronger. If that makes sense. Okay. Second book, we have Denison Avenue by Christina Wong and Daniel Innes. It's being defended by former Calgary Mayor Naheed I didn't write this down correctly. It's just a blob. What is it? Ninchi? I don't... It's smudged out on my board. Whoops. Yeah, that motherfucker was hilarious on Twitter back in the day, so, like, I hope he's hilarious now, too. But yeah, Denison Avenue takes place in Chinatown and Kensington Market in Toronto. I pronounced the T. Who am I? It feels like a weird choice for me that, like, someone who is basically, like, the face of Calgary for so long is taking a book in fucking Kensington Market. But yeah, books about like gentrification, and I guess it's like an older woman who like collects cans or something. I'm so unenthused by it, I don't even remember its synopsis, alright? Going around the market and just like talking about how things used to be, and I'm like, how is this going forward? You set the theme as forward, make the books forward. So yeah, I'm not overly enthused about it. I'm sure it'll be a fine read, but like for Canada reads, I'm just not sure it's it. Next we have Meet Me at the Lake by Carly Fortune, which, to be entirely fucking honest, I did not expect to end up on this short list. Like, I have 2 Carly Fortune books. I have never read either of them. One of them being Meet Me at the Lake. But I'm like, aren't these just like fucking fluffy ass romances? With like a little hint of like drama that no one actually gives a shit about? Like, isn't that what these books are supposed to be from her? Being championed by fashion influencer Miriam, I don't know how to say this, Njoh. Ja? Literally no idea. Literally no idea. Am I supposed to not pronounce N's in those? I don't deal with last names. Everyone I've ever met in my life I've dealt with a first name basis, alright? So yes, Miriam, fashion influencer, model, photographer, calls themselves a multi-hyphenate creative, and I'm like, okay. Didn't we learn last year that we don't want influencers anymore? You know, Gravitas is nice, or Taz, whatever, is nice, but book was kicked out on the first day. They voted that book out on the first day. So side eye. Just moving on from that. We're gonna go with Shut Up You're Pretty. Again, a name I don't know how to pronounce. Tia Mutanji? This is the only thing I didn't look up how to say these names. I was just like, no, let's just fucking film it. So yeah, being championed by actor Kurakawashi Rotendo. Again, so bad at pronouncing names. Just names. I fuck up my own names sometimes. Okay. This is the one that I'm like, maybe. Because in her 30-second defense, Shut Up You're Pretty holds the promise of hope and future, not in spite of a heavy past, but because of it. And I was like, fuck, what? Like, that hit me and I went, okay, I see what you're doing here. So if the book can actually do what you're saying the book does. Shut Up You're Pretty is a collection of short stories focused around one central character and what she sees growing up as a black girl in Scarborough. So again, Ontario. Fuck Ontario. So yeah. From what I've read of its description, I'm like, that sounds interesting. Having said that in their 30-second defense and introduction of the book, I'm just like, sounds good. Like, that is what we are asking. One book to carry us forward. Like, did they pick this theme because, like, we're out of the pandemic fully now? And, like, they think that's what it is, that we have to move forward from this? Because, like, this pando fucked up a lot of people. A lot of people. Me absolutely fucking included. I don't know. As I said, I'm pretty unenthused about the entire thing. Bad Cree being the most enthused I am about anything, and Shut Up You're Pretty being the second most enthused. Our last book is The Future by Kathleen Leroux, and I did not write down the name of the person who translated it apparently, but it is a French book being championed by author Heather O'Neill. Which I also have feelings about. So it is set in sort of this, like, Well, it's speculative fiction. It's speculative. What if Detroit was never surrendered by the French to the Americans? And so it's this, like, French part of Canada down there by Windsor, you know? So yeah, speculative fiction in that. In Heather's defense, she said it was like Lord of the Flies. And I was like, way to make me not ever want to even fucking touch that book. Lord of the Flies was read by me in high school. Probably lots of other Ontarians around my age forced to read that book in high school. Try to find one who fucking liked it. I have very strong feelings about that book. It is one of those things, you compare it to that book, I'm not going to want to fucking read that book. I'm not a big fan of speculative fiction to begin with. I've read a few in the past, and I was just kind of... Like, I love a historical fiction, and I don't mind them not being 100% accurate to that historical fiction, but, like, the speculative fiction, the, like, futurism kind of thing is very much not for me. This is probably the book I'm least enthused about on this list, to be entirely honest. As I was discussing with Jules in another comment somewhere, there are a lot of other French authors out there that could have been on this list that were apparently better. I don't read French, I don't know. But yeah. Overall, this list for the 23rd year of Canada Reads has left me unenthused. I'd put my money into Bad Cree or Shut Up You're Pretty. At least, I want to say at least this time everything is based in Canada, but again, 4 out of 5, like, if we're counting Detroit as part of Ontario for the speculative fiction of this, then, like, yeah. 4 out of 5 are set in Ontario, and, like, I remember reading something a few years ago. Ontarians are more likely to identify themselves as Canadian first and Ontarian or, like, their city second, whereas the other provinces and territories are more likely to proclaim themselves as, you know, Albertan, you know, Nova Scotian, whatever, that or their city first. Canada is very much Ontario in a lot of people's minds. And so putting a book for all of Canada, making 4 out of 5 of them be from Ontario is fucking garbage. It's fucking garbage. I am so unenthused by this list of books. And to be honest, also the Defenders. As I said, I have feelings about an author championing, you know, a book. Particularly because that author won the 2007 Canada Reads with Lullabies for Little Criminals. So, like, I don't know how to fully explain why it gives me the ick. It just gives me the ick. Okay? It's like, this is not a space for you. Like, it's a space about books. It's not a space about authors. That's what it feels like. It feels like they're kind of, like, in a space that I don't necessarily think should be for them. Now, has Canada Reads had authors as champions before? Yes, they have. I'm not enthused by that. You're like, you want notable Canadians. Okay, yes, that does include authors. But I almost feel like they have some kind of, like, professional advantage, which makes me kind of, like, give the ick, but at the same time, the future is the one that I am seeing people the least enthused about online as well. So maybe that's evening the fucking playing field for that book that apparently nobody wants to fucking read. I already own 2 books. I have 3 books that I need to get for this completed list. So I put in my order this morning with a small independent bookstore near me. One of these books is available. The other 2, on order, waiting for stockists to get more stock of them. Very unenthused that I cannot get these books either, which is odd. Like, you know in advance that these are going to be, like by a month, you pretty much know that these are going to be the books. So the fact that, like, you have not printed more to have more. And I went to fucking genocidal funders, and one of them is available in the store near me, and one of them can be ordered online, but the other cannot be ordered online, and the other is not available in the store. And I'm like, I'm not running around the fucking world trying to find these books. Thanks for hanging out. I'll see you around next time.